Narc Free Formula. Tonight's episode is about hoovering. A lot of people get confused about what hoovering is and what it really means to be hoovered. And often some people will actually say, why haven't I been hoovered? And what that tells me is they are still considering a hoover as being a sign of love or obsession or, care or commitment or something like that. We need to be really, really clear and just go back to basics. Narc 101. Narcs do not love, okay? They do a good act of love, but they don't actually love. They never loved you. They didn't love the one before you, the one after you, or the one after her. They just do what they do to get the fuel that they need. So you need to always remember that basic narc tenet, because the hoover, although it may appear to be the narc reaching out to try and contact you, what it really is the narc basically checking your temperature, checking your pulse, seeing how open and how how open you are basically to having contact with them again, how warm you are, and if you are warm and receptive, well, basically they're just trying to see if they can come back and get some more of whatever was left on the table from the first time. Because remember, right, it's all a con. So if you have anything that they need or want, you are of value to them. So whether it be your money, your contacts, your property, quite literally anything that you have that they want will be why they are hoovering you. They're not hoovering you because they've realised, oh my God, you were the best person, your best thing that ever happened to me, we were soulmates, we were meant to be, I fucked up. No, that's not what's behind the hoover. And, and I have received the those kind of hoovers, the ones that where they deliberately try and pull on your heartstrings and make you fall back in love with them enough so that they can get whatever it is that they want, So, all right, so here's a classic little story. So someone that I love dearly who also has a relationship with a narcissist, they've been separated for a few years. He's had new supply. In fact, he's had numerous new supply, but each and every time he breaks up with the new supply or the new supply leave him, he tries to contact my friend. We'll call it, I don't know, Anne. No, we won't call it Anne. We'll call her Suki. All right, so Suki gets a phone call from John, and John's new supply is in jail because that's one of the places that the new supplies are always heading. But anyhow, so the new supply is in jail. So John says, she's nothing like you. You're the only woman I've ever loved. You are the world to me. Without you, I'm nothing. My whole life has fallen apart since I lost you. On and on with that. So the sympathy angle. So when Suki holds her ground and says, yeah, that's nice, but no, he then goes on to try and say that they had a dog. So they had a pet dog together, a joint dog. That Boxer, we'll call the dog Boxer. The Boxer misses you and he's getting old, and I really want you to come around and see Boxer before he dies. So please, if you're not going to do it for me, do it for Boxer. Suki holds her ground. She says no. He then says, steers the conversation to drugs, because drugs are part of their past together. And he says, come on, wouldn't you just love to, have some ecstasy and we'll spend the night together, just for, one night together, just for good old time's sake, and then she says, no. He keeps on going. This is the amazing thing, is that once you start talking to them, this is why you don't bother to talk to them, because they don't take no for an answer. They just change the story, change the whatever carrot they're trying to dangle in front of you, or whatever tool of manipulation they're using. Just keep changing it. So anyhow, so Suki is also bisexual. So then he says, well, my flatmate's really good looking. I think you'd like her. I mean, my God, the lengths that this man was going to try and hoover her back into the relationship, offering to fly her to him, offering to fly him to her. Desperate. I mean, he hasn't seen her in years, but so desperate. She holds her ground because she does it so well. That's, who she is. She holds her ground. She knows that he's a narcissist. She's known it for a while now. So she holds her ground, and he finally shuts up. But the only reason that he actually shuts up is because he manages to hook up new supply. And so this is it. If you're being hoovered, like I said, it's not because they love you, it's because they've run out of supply. So if their new supply goes to jail, leaves them, gets sick, wakes up to themselves, or starts pulling back their energy, or whatever it is, that's when you're going to get hoovered. Doesn't mean he loves you, because they don't love. Doesn't mean he wants you, because they look at us like appliances. Quite literally, the way you look at your vacuum is the way he looks at you. Okay, you're just an appliance to service a need, and when you don't service that need, you are a malfunction unit, and you just can be replaced just like that. They don't care about you as a person. They're not interested in what you did before them, what you do when they're not around. I mean, unless they're being just paranoid and insecure. They're not actually interested in your day when you're at work or what you did. So they're not interested in you as people. They don't want you back because they love you. They've had an epiphany. They just want to use you. So whether it's, like I said, your money, if you come into an inheritance, or if you sell something, if there is tax time is another time that we'll hear from them. Anytime they think that they can get something from you is when they will hoover. So financially, if they can benefit in any way. Oh, and that's right. So getting back to my friend Suki and her ex, John, the final straw. So she's been talking to him, even though she knows he's a narcissist. She has been speaking to him on and off throughout the years. Part of her, I suppose, talking to him is probably because she's enjoying watching him self-destruct. It's given her a little bit of karmic justice, I suppose. But anyhow, so then his final act was to try and contact one of her best friends, someone she's been friends with for years. Then he contacts Suki back and says, oh yeah, by the way, your girl tried to hit on me. Right, so back to the triangulation. This is the man who just days before was begging, pleading, saying, you're the love of my life. I have never loved anyone like I love you. I am nothing without you. I'm going to kill myself if you don't come back. Literally days before, that's what he was saying. And then when she held her ground, he went off searching for new supply and managed to do some triangulating with her best friend on the way. That's the kind of people that we're talking about. This is exactly what we are talking about. So, a hoover is nothing. Don't feel flattered, or, don't think it's a sign of love. It's not. It's just a sign that they think they have a chance to use you some more, even if it is just because you've got some hot friends that they might be able to hit on as well. And remember that, you think, oh, well, I don't have anything, he talks to me because he still cares. But you don't see the world the way a narcissist does. They see everything and everyone through the lens of what they can get, what the other person has, and how they can relieve them of it. That's how they view the world. So when you let them back into your world, that's what they're doing, is coming back to just pick off what they left behind the first time. So hold your ground. A Hoover, it's not flattering. They don't love anyone. Certainly don't love you. As I said, they just don't love. So it's not about you personally at all. It's always just about them. So stand your ground. If you get hoovered, ignore it. If you don't get hoovered, thank your lucky stars, because it's not easy, especially for people when they're vulnerable. And also narcissists have the tendency to show up around Christmas time or around birthdays, or when they know people are having hard times. They are parasites by nature, and they do not care what damage they do to your health, your finances, your well-being, your state of mind, your tranquility. They don't care about you as a person. So they really don't care. If you let them in, all they're going to, in their mind, think is, well, she let me back in. So, and she knows what I'm like. She knows what I'm like. Okay, so therefore she was asking for it. So they almost justify it in their mind. Right? Just stay away from them. Who needs them? Honestly, there's so many beautiful people in this world. Get out there and find yourself a decent person. If you want to be in a relationship, go on. There's like 8 million people. Sorry, 8 billion people. Even if it was 8 million, there's still quite a few really nice people that aren't narcissists. Don't waste time with narcissists. Like, now that you know, right, now you've actually started to put the pieces into place of this jigsaw puzzle, and you realize, oh shit, I'm with someone who's really not well. Right now, go on, get out there, just leave. It's never going to get any better. I can guarantee you that. They only get worse with age. And once they're out, keep them out. And the only way to do that is no contact, absolutely no contact. Because if you give them any contact at all it does, as I said, is leaves you open to manipulation, lies, some more con artistry. Basically they'll just come and take some more of what you have, whatever they missed the first time around. Or even worse, for example, they left you in such a depleted state. When most kind of discards occur, literally, the victim is left absolutely depleted of energy, resources, everything. They have to build themselves up from scratch. And then when they're starting to get their resources built back up, when they're starting to get their health back up, when they're starting to have more energy, that's usually when the hoovers occur, because the narcissist thinks, oh, hang on, there's more there. Hang on, I missed some of that. Go get me some more of that. And as I said, they also think of everyone as possessions. You're a narc possession for life. I mean, it doesn't matter if they declare that they hate you, because they hate everyone. And this object constancy thing. So they don't, 1 minute they love you, then they hate you, then they love you again. And when they're loving you, they can't remember that they hated you. And when they're hating you, they can't remember that they loved you. They're so disconnected. And they don't have a full kind of spectrum of emotions. It's just one or the other, which is quite extreme and quite jolting when you're in the relationship with someone like that. But now that you know that, and now that you've gotten away from them, don't fall for any of their tricks, because even if they were to hoover you and love bomb you and start it all over again from scratch, you'll be exactly back to where you were with the devaluation and the discard within days, weeks, months, whatever. It's always going to be the same outcome. There's no happy endings with narcissists. All right, darlings, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button or subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to share to as many platforms as you can, you are more than welcome. Help me grow this channel. All right, darlings, let's get free, narc free, and stay narc free. Bye.